What happens when your association's fees skyrocket, but they outright refuse to let you see the financial records? Well, let's dive right into this explainer. We're going to unpack a really fascinating legal battle over HOA transparency and the fundamental right to literally just see the books.
So that brings us to the absolute core of the issue. Can an association keep its management agreements totally secret when your annual assessments suddenly double or triple? Now, just a quick disclaimer before we get into the weeds. This is public record education and commentary, okay? Not legal advice, but we are absolutely going to explore exactly what happens when a property owner demands accountability and the association pushes back.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll hit the case snapshot, the human conflict behind it, the paper trail and legal issues, what the court actually decided, practical takeaways, and finally, the limits of the case.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, the case snapshot. Who are the parties and what court are we in?
This dispute centers on the plaintiff, Norman Zwicky, and his timeshare owners association, Premier Vacation Collection. This legal battle started off in the Maricopa County Superior Court and ultimately fought its way all the way to the Arizona Court of Appeals. The main issue? A massive fight over records requests, all triggered by some pretty severe assessment increases.
Moving to Section 2, the human conflict. Let's follow the money. According to the court records, Zwicky made a hefty $26,000 investment back in 2004. Everything was fine until 2010 when a subsidiary of Diamond Resorts Corporation acquired a huge chunk of the timeshare assets. After that acquisition, Zwicky's annual fees jumped dramatically to over $2,000 a year. Naturally frustrated, he did what, honestly, a lot of homeowners are tempted to do. He just stopped paying his assessments as a protest. He eventually fell over $13,000 in arrears and demanded to see the financial records. When the association said no to his specific requests, he filed a lawsuit in 2015. That brings us to Section 3, looking at the paper trail and the specific legal issues. Digging into the actual case filings, there's this really interesting July 2016 letter from Zwicky's attorney, Edward L. Berry. It perfectly captures the behind-the-scenes procedural maneuvering. You can see him trying to navigate some very strict statutory limits, specifically Arizona Statute 33-2010, regarding communicating with other owners. The association was fighting tooth and nail to keep its member list private, while Zwicky's team was scrambling to find a legal pathway to contact other owners who might also be upset about the fees. And here is the core argument Zwicky's legal team hammered home. They argued that, as a member of this nonprofit corporation, he had a fundamental, verifiable right to inspect the actual management agreements. He wanted to make sure the developer and management company weren't just unfairly passing inflated costs down to the individual owners. He didn't want a watered-down, summarized financial sheet, you know? He wanted the actual original vendor contracts to see exactly how those fees were being split.
So this sets up a massive clash of legal principles for the court to weigh. First, do members actually have a right to inspect underlying management agreements? Does the Arizona Nonprofit Corporation Act guarantee that kind of access? But on the flip side, does the specific timeshare statute protect the privacy of the owner's list? And crucially, can a homeowner use a broad common law argument to just override a specific written state law that protects member privacy? It's a real tug-of-war.
Which leads us to Section 4. What did the court actually decide?
Well, the trial court initially gave Zwicky practically everything he asked for. They granted summary judgment, letting him inspect the records, and get this, they even ordered the association to send a notice to the other members about the lawsuit. But the Court of Appeals, they split the difference. They completely affirmed Zwicky absolute statutory right to inspect the financial records and vendor agreements. But they handed the association a major victory on the privacy front. They vacated the order requiring the association to notify the membership, basically ruling that you can't just brush aside specific timeshare privacy statutes. This is confirmed right in the appellate opinion delivered by Judge Roscoe. The statutory right for a homeowner to see the corporate books is incredibly strong. If you ask for the financials, the association generally has to hand them over. But, and this is a massive but, accessing your neighbor's contact information or trying to force the board to mail out your litigation notices remains heavily, heavily restricted by statute.
All right, Section 5. Practical takeaways and lessons for the community. Why does all of this actually matter? For homeowners, here is the absolutely crucial takeaway. While you can and absolutely should request financial records and vendor agreements if your fees suddenly spike, withholding your assessments is a terrible protest tactic. Remember, Zwicky ended up over $13,000 in arrears. You just can't stop paying your dues because you're in a dispute. Pay the assessments and use your statutory rights to force an inspection of the actual management agreements to find out where your money went. Oh, and also manage your expectations. You likely won't get a list of your neighbor's personal contact info. The courts fiercely protect that privacy.
Now, what about boards and community managers? For you, the lesson is all about risk management. If someone asks for actual management contracts and vendor invoices, just provide them. Handing over a one-page, unverifiable summary instead of the real deal is exactly how disputes escalate into the Superior Court. If there's private information in there, sure, redact it, but you've got to produce that underlying financial data. Embracing broad transparency isn't just a nice idea, it literally prevents years of incredibly costly litigation. And for the association attorneys out there, this case really highlights a failed legal theory. The plaintiffs' team tried to use broad common law principles, basically arguing they had a proper purpose, to get around explicit Arizona statutory limitations on distributing member lists. The Court of Appeals shut that down, making it crystal clear that specific statutes trump general common law. You simply cannot bypass strict statutory privacy protections on appeal.
Next up, let's go over a red flags and evidence checklist.
If you're ever investigating a sudden spike in your association dues, this is your essential checklist. Don't just ask for a generic budget. You need to request the actual management agreements, because that's what reveals the real fee splits and vendor costs. You should also look for notices of production and protective orders in the court docket, because those show exactly what the board is fighting to keep sealed. And always, always request the board meeting minutes. That is where the legal justifications for any assessment hikes have to be formally recorded.
Finally, Section 6, we have to talk about the limits of this case.
While this case is absolutely a victory for transparency, it only proves that homeowners have a legal right to inspect records to look for mismanagement. It does not mean the court found that any mismanagement, fraud, or illegal conduct actually occurred by the developer, the board, or the management company. The court just ordered the books to be opened. It didn't rule on what was actually inside them. That is a really vital distinction to keep in mind when you're reviewing public interest litigation. So I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought. If your assessments suddenly double tomorrow, do you know exactly how to use your statutory rights to find out why? Remember, transparency isn't just handed to you, it's enforced through knowledge. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep asking the right questions.